problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But
that fucking dude hits hard.
Set that Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Joe Rogan has spoken out about Anthony Joshua's intense new training routine ahead of the rumored Jake Paul fight, and his reaction makes the situation crystal clear. After viewing leaked clips of Joshua firing off explosive combinations and drilling with elite-level trainers, Rogan described the former heavyweight champion as terrifying and warned that Jake Paul might finally be facing a challenge he cannot talk his way out of. With Joshua appearing sharper, quicker, and more vicious than he has in years, Rogan believes this matchup could end violently, and very quickly, if Jake chooses to step into the ring. The Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight is set to be a fully regulated professional heavyweight contest under official Queensberry rules. The bout will consist of 8 rounds of 3 minutes each, and both fighters must wear 10-ounce gloves. Importantly, Joshua will be required to weigh in at no more than 245 pounds, a rule implemented to keep the fight somewhat balanced. The outcome, win or loss, will appear on both fighters' official professional records. This is a real sanctioned fight.
Need to get stronger.
Nisa Bidarian, CEO of Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, and Jake Paul's primary promoter, told Sky Sports that the December 19th showdown with Anthony Joshua is shaping up to be a massive global event. He emphasized that while Joshua holds far more boxing experience, Paul's unshakable self-belief could be the unpredictable factor in this fight. Bidarian portrayed this matchup as a symbolic clash and explained that their team moved at record speed to secure it, finalizing plans and negotiations in a surprisingly short time frame. He also confirmed strict weight limits and full professional rules to ensure the bout is treated as a serious, high-stakes contest. Bidarian also argued that this fight is far less a mismatch than Joshua's previous contest against Francis Ngannou. While Ngannou was enormous physically, Bidarian said he lacked genuine boxing fundamentals, making that matchup more one-sided. In contrast, he believes Jake Paul has progressed quickly, developing enough skill and ring awareness to make the Joshua fight more competitive than many expect.
Bout. This is going on people's records. AJ got to take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds. And people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of, like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has no limit, I get it.
Many analysts believe Jake Paul is taking an enormous gamble by stepping in against Anthony Joshua. Former cruiserweight champion Lawrence Oakley warned that Joshua's immense size and punching power make the fight a serious health threat for Paul. Meanwhile, former 2-time world champion David Benavidez has stated plainly that Paul is walking straight into a dangerous trap because Joshua has years of high-level experience that Jake simply cannot match.
A limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. What would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. Given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua? 100%.
Carl Froch questioned Anthony Joshua's decision to accept the Jake Paul fight, suggesting that AJ may be cashing out. And he didn't hesitate to criticize it. Froch argued that Joshua, who has already earned huge sums and reached championship status, seems more motivated by money than legacy at this point. With his financial future secured, Froch believed Joshua has little left to prove in traditional boxing and is instead choosing an easier, highly profitable crossover.
Big gold medalist, you know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. Yeah. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's going to be a good card, you know what I mean? It's a big fight. And it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
A portion of boxing fans genuinely believe Jake Paul might be able to defeat Anthony Joshua, and they're basing that confidence on his knockout power. Despite being known as a YouTube-turned-fighter, Paul has demonstrated real punching ability, scoring knockdowns and knockouts in several of his bouts. Tyson Fury recently predicted Paul could knock out AJ, pointing to Jake's increased size and growing power at heavyweight. Meanwhile, Paul continues to insist that Joshua has a vulnerable chin and that a single clean shot could finish the fight early.
What else have we got to consider? Is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world level. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but what Daniel Dubois did to him, then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through, Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route by fighting fake.
Many observers are labeling this fight a modern-day David versus Goliath story. Jake Paul, who built his name through social media and lighterweight boxing, is stepping up to face Anthony Joshua, a towering heavyweight with championship pedigree and significant physical advantages. Joshua's height, power, and experience make him the clear Goliath, while Paul, the underdog David, is betting everything on his courage, determination, and belief that he can overcome the odds.
He can win? Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me. I'm a professional fighter and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is in Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know.
How do we know he's got power? How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside.
One of the major talking points surrounding Joshua taking this fight is his limited activity over the last 2 years. After losing a split decision to Alexander Usyk in 2022, Joshua's schedule became less consistent. He defeated Robert Helenius in August 2023, then beat Otto Wallen in December 2023, followed by a knockout win over Francis Ngannou in in March 2024.
Anthony Joshua his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years. And one of them, he got knocked out off Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight. And a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer. And he only had one fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now, Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023. And one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, well, I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched. And I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. Now, come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pound versus 252 pound. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights, and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs.
David Hay has issued a severe warning regarding the upcoming Joshua versus Paul fight, calling a clear mismatch. Speaking to Sky News, the former heavyweight champion said Joshua could inflict devastating damage on Paul, expressing real concern for Paul's safety. Hay went so far as to say the fight could be his last day on earth, painting a grim picture of what might happen if Paul underestimates Joshua's strength, size, and experience. The physical difference between the two fighters is massive. Joshua stands 6 feet 6 inches with an 82-inch reach, while Paul is around 6 feet 1 inch with a 76-inch reach. Joshua typically weighs between 240 and 250 pounds, though he must come in at or below 245 for this bout. Paul, on the other hand, has spent most of his career as a cruiserweight and only recently bulked up to about 227 pounds for heavyweight fights. These size and weight differences could give Joshua a major advantage in power and reach.
Big money fight, £100 million potentially. Are you confident it'll happen?
I wasn't confident when I first heard about it. It sounds like one of those fairy tale fights that people talk about but don't actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet, someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice, although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois. He's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level. And he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar. And I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to, it's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand.
Anthony Joshua is taking a significant risk by accepting a fight with Jake Paul, and many experts believe the danger extends beyond the physical aspect to his career reputation. Former heavyweight Dave Allen warned that if Paul even lands a solid punch on Joshua, it could damage everything AJ has accomplished. Others suggest the fight is driven purely by financial motives. Eddie Hearn defended the matchup by saying, "You can't eat legacy." Critics worry that Joshua may be sacrificing his boxing reputation for a massive payday, and if the outcome turns ugly, he risks being remembered more for chasing money than for his championship achievements.
Of boxing fans will think this is a massive stain on his career and a bit of an embarrassment. Now, you two have done it. I'm sure you would both fight Jake Paul tomorrow, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but we're both retired. And we'll be looking at it saying, still an easy fight because he can't box, he's useless. So it's risk reward, minimum risk, massive reward. So of course we'd fight Jake.
No, but you say that, it's a big risk, Carl. Big risk.
I'm not having that.
Big risk. If you don't go and annihilate him in the first 30 seconds,
it's fixed.
Can you right, it's fixed. Oh, he's pulling him round.
Yeah.
He's talking about me fighting him though. So would you think that was fixed if I didn't go and annihilate him? 11 years retired. I think that's the point George makes. He always does a little dig and says,
no, but
say
you go out there and it's a tough fight for you. You can say, well, what would you expect? I haven't boxed for 11 years. But then it's like, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Do you want that?
Nobody thinks any less.
You've got the best ending.
Yeah, I've got
your career.
Definitely. So, nobody thinks any less of Mike Tyson because he lost to Jake Paul.
He was 58 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's in hospital a week before.
Snap been retired 11 years, and I'd still go in there, in my opinion, and whoop him. I don't think it'd be hard at all. Mm-hmm. So listen, he won't fight me. He's pretending he don't know who I am now, for a start. So he's thought.
How can he not know who you are?
Froch means business. How can he not know?
Despite the criticism, many boxing analysts and fans believe that Anthony Joshua may be entering the best phase of his career. Even after facing setbacks, including 2 losses to Alexander Usyk, Joshua has consistently shown determination and the ability to bounce back stronger. Observers have noted a shift in his demeanor recently. He appears calmer, more focused, and more driven than he has in years.
What it takes. But then sports is so psychological. Combat is so psychological. And I think the ups and downs of AJ's career have come because of the ups and downs of the psychology, you know? When AJ's on mentally, he's a different guy, man. I mean, I can remember early in his career just being this destroyer and just having this utter mean streak in there, and it would just come out of him when he would fight. You could just see it. He had that it factor, and he was so popular. I mean, and then I remember being at the Ruiz fight at the Garden, and he gets hit with like this grazing shot. Never recovers, and he's gone. And this is after I watched him knock out Klitschko at Wembley, getting up off the canvas in front of a crazy crowd. So I'm like, I'm leaving the Garden, and I'm like, what happened to this guy? What you know?
In summary, Anthony Joshua's decision to fight Jake Paul is a high-risk move both physically and in terms of his legacy. While the bout promises enormous financial gain, many insiders fear it could damage AJ's reputation if things take an unexpected turn. Critics argue that Joshua maybe turned what could have been a respected veteran comeback into a circus-style spectacle. On the other hand, this matchup could represent a major payday he's earned after a long career of big fights. Still, at this stage of his career, stepping into a dangerous crossover bout, one that could end in a shocking upset or severe harm, is far from a guaranteed win.
A lot of people have said, well, if he doesn't knock him out the way in which he knocked out Francis Ngannou, he's a sham, this is a sham, this is all rigged. A lot of people said if Jake wins, this is a sham, this is rigged. A lot of people said if he goes the distance with Jake, this is a sham, this is all rigged. Some people are saying even before it was finalized, Gareth on our show, although he folded quite quickly when he was face-to-face with Eddie at the open workouts. I saw that on IFL TV, I do believe, saying that his legacy is already in question as a result of taking this fight. Now, I'm surprised that people like Gareth say this. Look, this may not be your cup of tea. You can say, I want to see Anthony Joshua fight other heavyweights. I want to see him fight the likes of, Joseph Parker. I want to see him fight Martin Bakole. I want to see him fight Kabayel. I want to see him fight Zhilei Zhang. I want to see him fight Hrgovic.